What's up, everybody? Welcome to Jrichfits Lifestyle and Health Coaching Corner. We're on episode 16 now. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Today's topic is fitness myths. So I think that in fitness, there's a lot of people that are doing the wrong things. But the main reason they do the wrong things is because they see somebody that is fit that might be doing something wrong, but then they look at them and like, oh, I want to look like them, so I'm going to do what they do. And then the little snowball turns into this huge avalanche because all they do is see and do, and they don't get the education in, or they don't take the time to understand what's right and what's wrong, or what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. So I think that a lot of horrible myths get created and people just roll with them and do them. The first one that I want to go over is holding your breath when you lift. I cannot stand when I see this. So I get where it comes from. The ideology and the mythology behind it is when these guys back in the earlier stages were lifting, they take these huge breaths, so it creates this this bubble inside your body, and it helps not curve your back or mess up your low spine, and you can hold and lift these massive things up and drop them and all that shit. And I think, in my opinion, it's one of the worst things you can possibly do. Yes, you're going to probably lift a little bit more, and yes, you're going to hit a PR that you haven't before, whatever the fuck. But name another sport or another thing besides being in water that's good to hold your breath in. If you're sprinting, you will not sprint faster holding your breath. You'll probably pass out. If you're boxing, if you're playing basketball, if you're playing football, they always tell you if you hold your breath, you're going to hurt yourself. So why would it be any different holding your breath, lifting weight? The likelihood of hurting yourself is extremely high. For example, most of the time in car accidents, the drunk driver not never dies, but like if it's a head-on collision and the cars don't blow up, the likelihood of the drunk driver living compared to the passenger or the sober driver is a lot bigger because they're relaxed. When they hit, it's just, everything's like this. When you're the person being hit and you're sober, your body tenses up. You tend to hold your breath. Everything freezes. Your muscles will end up breaking your bones because of the stiffness and everything like that. So, in my opinion, the more relaxed you could be, the healthier it should be for you when it comes to lifting weights. If you could relax and get a steady breath and a steady breathing pattern instead of holding your breath and potentially herniating a disc or blowing blood vessels in your body, all that type of stuff. It just doesn't add up to me. And why do people do this? The main reason people do this is it increases their intra-abdominal pressure, which takes pressure off of your low back and helps you lift heavier. So, like I said earlier, the main reason why you do this is you take that huge deep breath, you hold on to it. It helps the spine not, like I said, curve or bend a certain way. So it takes a lot of pressure off the low back. I get it. Like I said, for people that are lifting heavy, more power to you. But what you're getting compared to what else you're doing to your body is not good. So yes, you're going to lift heavier. You're going to take pressure off the low back. Perfect. But like I said earlier, you're hurting everything else. Your blood pressure is skyrocketing. You're messing up your heart rhythm. You're messing up blood vessels. There's so much internal damage that you're doing that you're not paying attention to because I want that PR and I want to be the strongest fucker in the gym. Who gives a fuck? How about you get a controlled breathing pattern and lift as much as you can controlled and relaxed? So like for me, when I lift, I don't use the weight belt. I don't use the knee pads. I don't use the fucking fancy shoes. I literally just lift as much as I can lift in a controlled breathing pattern. And I think that people should start getting used to doing that unless you're a competitive lifter. And at the end of the day, I don't know why the fuck you be a competitive lifter if you're trying to be an athlete because they don't make shit when it comes to money. Put that shit towards something else or just stop doing it and be a little bit more relaxed and controlled. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, do people really give a shit if I was talking to somebody in conversation and I'm like, well, I can squat 600 fucking pounds. I can give a fuck how many pounds you can squat or bench press and shit like that. Like, is that supposed to make you a cooler person? Or is that supposed to make you get a job over me getting a job? No. So who cares? Like, competitive lifters always get on my nerves because it's like, do you think anybody in normal passing by gives a fuck how much you get deadlift or bench press or squat or anything like that? And do you think that that's gonna save you if an altercation happens? Oh well, don't fight him. He fucking deadlifts 600 pounds. You know, who knows what will happen? No, hell no, man. I know guys that are 130 pounds that are fighters that beat the shit out of you. So stop putting so much weight and so much uh, time into lifting heavy and hurting yourself. Like, that's the thing I always laughed about when it came to powerlifting. You're doing as a sport what athletes do to get ready for their sport. So you're deadlifting and squatting and power cleaning and everything, and now you're trying to convince me that this is a sport. But when I play college football and when I see guys that are athletes, that's what they do in the off season to get ready for a sport. So you're trying to use your bullshit and sell me that you're an athlete. Yeah, you're a fucking athlete. Yeah, you can lift all these weights and shit, but that doesn't make you an athlete. That just makes you somebody that's strong or taking steroids or working on this intra-abdominal pressure. Oh, shut the fuck up. I don't care about none of that shit. What damage does this cause? Like I said earlier, though it helps the low back, it changes your heart rate, it spikes your blood pressure. Like, those are two really dramatic things. And the issue is, young people, when I say young, I'm talking about teenage to, let's cap it at 40. You don't realize the longevity and damage that you're doing. If you're constantly doing this and you're constantly messing up your blood pressure and you're constantly spiking and crashing your heart, there's a lot of damage that is happening internally that you're not paying attention to that will later in life catch up to you. So that's why I say when you lift, control, relax, anything that helps with control and relaxation and longevity to your life, like yoga, like meditation, all that type of stuff. It helps with a normal breathing pattern, and it helps you kind of be one with yourself. Anytime you have pressure and you're tense, you're gonna kill yourself. Like, people don't realize this too. I mean, granted, the world's strongest man, there's a lot of things that are wrong with it. First of all, being fucking steroids. They fucking crushed my dreams. I used to watch that show as a kid and be like, these guys are some extremely strong fuckers. They all look fat, so you're not thinking anything of it. Then you find out the one guy, you're like, oh yeah, next year he's gonna win. Dead heart attack. The other guy here, dead heart attack. And you're like, how are these guys like 28 years old dying of heart attacks? Well, A, it's because all the immense stress they're putting on their body when it comes to holding their breath and lifting all this massive weight. But B, you find out these fuckers are doing steroids and you're like, what the fuck? You just ruined everything. I'm watching this guy lift thousands of pounds when you combine it all up. And you think that they're just God, it was a gift from God that makes them that strong. It's all steroid induced, and it's all, and that's what happens with these powerlifters and these people that get to a certain plateau. Is now you start diving into the steroids and the bad proteins and all the bullshit. So you're already putting stress on your heart with the whole breathing thing, but now you're adding everything else into it. Because lifting weight is an ego thing. It has nothing to do with turning it into a sport. Like I said, when you lift in sports, lifting is cool, but that doesn't make you a great athlete. Your athleticism and what you do on the field makes you a great athlete. The lifting weight and everything just kind of helps add to it. But when you're just lifting weight, that's all you care about is that PR. So most people do whatever it takes to get that PR. And once they get there, they don't want to drop off. So when they don't drop off, they constantly are doing the steroids and they're constantly eating the bullshit and they're messing their whole bodies up. So it's a slippery slope that a lot of people dive into and just destroy themselves. So stop worrying about lifting this heavy weight and these numbers and all that stuff, and really start worrying about building inside out, lifting with a calm breathing pattern. I always tell people, you should lift with the same breathing pattern as if you were talking. So if I'm talking to you like this right now, I should be able to lift the same exact way and get a good burn out and get a good gain out of it, and stop fucking holding your breath, because your eyeballs are gonna pop out your head. That's what I hope happens. Next time you keep holding your breath, I hope your fucking eyeballs pop out, just stay right there, and then you play yourself and like, I wish I never held my breath. Blood pressure, like I said, is a huge one that you're hurting yourself. Uh, Hernias are huge. Like I said, everybody's young, so they don't really think about it. I've never had one personally, but I've seen people get them, and it looks fucking horrible. Because what happens is you rip the lining in your abdomen, and some of your intestines pop out, or some of the muscle behind that pops out. And you're just one slip away from your whole fucking ass hanging out your stomach. So be careful with hernias. And that's just frontal. There's some people there's some people that get hernias out the back end, where a little bit of intestine or a little bit of something just slips out, yep, like that. If you don't believe me, YouTube this Olympic athlete that did a snatch, too heavy, held his breath, might have pushed a little bit out the back end. Half his intestines slip out. It's the worst visual picture that you'll ever see, especially as a man, because you don't know that you could rip the lining in your butthole, and not just shit comes out. The rest, oh my god, the rest of his fucking intestine came out. So really pay attention, watch that shit, and fucking rethink holding your breath. I just gotta drive that home. Stop holding your breath. So then also, elevated intra-abdominal pressure compresses the vena cava, which reduces CO in your body. Not good. The increased pressure compresses the kidneys and renal veins. I think you know what those are. Leading to a potential failure and decreased urine output. So now, fellas, ladies, fellas, whatever, but fellas, pay attention to what the fuck I just said. In layman's terms, you'll start playing with your kidneys, so it has a hard time flushing out the bad stuff and getting it through the waste. Then you start messing with the pec. And you don't want to fuck that shit up. If you're holding your breath and putting all this pressure on your body and all else fails, don't fail your wiener. Don't fail that guy. And that's what ends up happening. A lot of these, if that is happening, what can follow that is being flaccid, erectile dysfunction, not being able to pee. Like, that's kind of what that one was right there, where it's like you're going to start getting premature symptoms when it comes to the wiener. And you don't want none of that, because your ladies don't want none of that. And the issue with these powerlifters is you're so focused on yourself and the steroids and everything like that, and the wiener stops working. Guess what? You'll be a lonely, sad man. So get it all together. If nothing scared you enough, know that your pee, your wiener, your kidneys ain't gonna work right. So focus on switching up and breathing. Because like I said, when it comes to breathing, yoga, meditation, all those good things. Look up the vanity side behind your wiener works great. Focus on breathing and getting the blood to flow the right ways and elongation and stretching and everything like that. You start getting blood to the pec and you're off to the races. You hold your breath, the opposite happens, and you're sitting there with a fucking little worm in your hand. So figure it the fuck out. So enough about that. That one drove it home. I think you understand where I'm coming from with that. Now, the next myth. Cardio is the best way to burn calories and burn fat. This is for sure a myth. The old way is run 20 miles a day and get on the bike and do as much cardio as you can and get your heart pumping and your blood flowing. Yes, it is great. Don't get me wrong. I think that those are good things. But the actual best way to burn calories and burn fat is through lifting and through muscle work and power, and not powerlifting, but let's stay away from that. But let's say lifting over doing cardio. That is what ends up being a little bit better. So strength training would be the better option over doing cardio. And the reason why that is because when you do strength training, lifting weight usually leads to a higher EPOC. EPOC stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So that means how much oxygen am I consuming after the workout when it goes to oxygen going into your blood or into your system, increasing blood cell, muscle growth, muscle recovery, all that good stuff. Lifting weights helps more than cardio. Because most of the time with cardio, I always tell people like this. Your body is like an oven. And on the top of your oven, you have your burners. If I have 6 burners going on, and I take some ice, and I put it on the far left burner, and I turn the front right burner on, that ice will stay exactly the same. It ain't gonna go nowhere. View that ice as fat. I go to that burner, I turn that burner on. The ice melts. That's how the body works. So people always are like, oh man, my shoulders just aren't there. Do you do shoulder workouts? No. Well, then there you go then. Start working your shoulders out. The burners turn on. The burners turn on. They start working the fat around. The fat starts dissipating. The muscle starts growing. Their core. Oh man, I never have a strong core. Do you do abs? No, but I run and I do all this cardio and do all this stuff. Well, yeah, do some crunches. My burner right here. Here's the fat. I activate the muscles. The muscles start firing off. They start heating up. They start warming up. The fat dissipates and I start getting abs. That's what we're trying to say right there is the muscle that you're working and the weight that you're lifting is going to help burn those specific sections to where you can burn the fat away, you can gain the muscle and go from there. When you're just doing cardio, it's not going to give you the same benefits. The EPOC isn't as strong as when it comes to lifting weights. And with that being said, look at the bodies that you're trying to be like. I think that's the biggest misconception too. If you want to look like a runner, do what runners do. When it comes to long distance running, elongation of the muscle, all that good stuff. But if you do that, just realize your body's going to want what you're putting out. So if I'm putting 20 miles of running out there, it's going to want 20 miles of calories to put back in just to keep up. And unless you're doing 20 miles a day, don't eat on that same 20-mile calorie rhythm. You have to adjust to what your body's doing. If you didn't do a lot today, don't eat a lot today. If you did a lot today, eat more because you're trying to replenish and recover your body. But what ends up happening is people eat the same exact way, but do different types of cardio and different types of exercise throughout their day. So it's like stay consistent, lift over cardio, but do cardio so don't get it twisted. That's the one thing I do hate too, which is also a myth, is I see people lift thinking that represents cardio. Unless you're doing high intensity lifting, which is power cleans and snatches and at a high level to where your heart rate is going and you're burning, it's not the same as doing 4 exercises, doing a quick cardio, doing 4 exercises, doing quick cardio. I think that's the best rhythm you can do when it comes to lifting. Do 4 exercises, run a half mile on a treadmill. Do 4 exercises, do 10 minutes on a Stairmaster. Do 4 exercises, get on the erg machine and row. You're going to have your body kind of go like this, up and down. You're spiking and crashing in a good and healthy way because you're breathing the whole time while you're doing this. So you're getting the proper oxygen into your body, which helps for the system to work the way it needs to work in a healthy body, healthy system. That's the idea. Also, let me jump back a little bit. Another danger in holding your breath is passing out. People don't realize that too. Things need to flow. And when you stop something, you could pass out, faint, hit the ground. That doesn't help your workout at all. It makes you look stupid, especially if you're at the gym, there's that hot chick or hot dude that you've been trying to talk to the whole time, and they see you pass out, they're not going to want to talk to your dumb ass. So don't hold your breath because the likelihood of passing out is extremely high. With going back to cardio over lifting, like I said, I think there's a happy balance. It should be more lifting over cardio, but cardio should still be in there because you want to make sure you're not building too much plaque in your veins and your arteries, and you want to make sure that your blood system is moving and going. Like I tell everybody with kids, they always sell the play 60 thing, where it's 60 minutes a day of play will help when it comes to growth and obesity and all that type of stuff. With adults, why do we stop doing that? Kids' immune systems and kids' just systems period are moving at way faster rate than us because they're growing, and their body has to catch up to the growth, everything like that. When you become an adult, you stop growing. So does that not mean that you need cardio way more than a child does? Do you need fitness way more than a child does? For sure. So make sure that you're getting at least 30, but try to get 60, try to get 90 minutes of activity a day, where if it's a hike or if it's cardio or if it's lifting weights, try to get them all in and try to find a way to mesh them all. You could be in your garage and you can do 30 burpees, 30 curls, 30 presses, 30 squats, and just keep going and going and going and going and going until your body can't go anymore. That's the idea, is push your body to its limits and stop getting in these comfort zones. Even in fitness, a lot of people get into a comfort zone where I never understood that. There's a gym that I used to work at, and I would notice that people would take 2 classes back to back. And it always cracked me up because I go so hard in the one class that I'm done. I get as many miles out my body can possibly get on the bike. I do as many reps as I can on the floor, to where I'm like, I couldn't do another class even if I wanted to. But then I'll see people go, oh, I'm going to do another one. Or I'll see them at another gym and then go to another gym. And I'm like, you should be able to work out in 35 to 45 minutes and almost destroy yourself, where you're lifting as much as you possibly lift within that time. You're doing as much cardio as you possibly do, and almost sprints as much as you can at the time. If you do that and you breathe consistently throughout that time, I promise you, you will be in the best shape of your life. You will be conditioned almost like a professional athlete. But if you sit there and you hold back or you preserve anything, you're not going to get better. You'll just stay the same. And you'll be able to do 3 classes in a row or 2 to 4 classes in a row because you're only giving that type of effort. You should give the maximum effort that you possibly can within each workout, to the point where that's it. That's all I got today. And then you recover, you rebuild, and you go from there. And also remember, the older you get, the more recovery is a serious thing. Stretching, breathing, icing, eating, drinking, they should all go into your thought process when it comes to recovery to get ready for the next day. Because if you're not doing that, all you're doing is tightening those piano wires up, and then one day you're going to hit that note and that piano wire snaps, and then you're hurt. And then you got 5 months to recover, 6 months to recover, when you could have just took that time to stretch and you've been absolutely fine. So hopefully me tackling these myths, giving my own colorful side to it, but also giving you education when it comes to EPOC and when it comes to what's a stupid ass breathing one called? It's called fucking, where is it at? When it comes to inter-abdominal pressure, all that type of stuff. Educate yourself. When I throw these things out there, go look them up. Just because I'm saying it, I am not shit. Remember that. I'm just a guy talking. I'm just giving my opinion. So everybody's got a different one. Look them up. Digest them. Figure out which ones make sense to you and which ones don't. Because that's really what I want to get across, is these myths are created because most people are sheep being led by a dog. Don't always allow the dog to tell you which direction to go in or which way to turn. Do your own education. Get your own stuff up. Do what makes sense to you. Just because it makes sense to me doesn't mean it's going to make sense to this person or that person. So start educating yourself. And especially nowadays, it's so easy to educate yourself. Ask a question on your phone, and the phone will give you the answer back. And you could look up different articles and start piecing them together and start figuring out what you need. YouTube is huge. I don't know why people ask trainers questions anymore. Or I don't know why you ask a trainer a question and he gives you an answer and you come back with another question. At that point, go to YouTube, look it all up. It's all over there. Like, education in the fitness world is at its highest when it comes to you just educating yourself. You can go on the internet, you can go on YouTube, you can go check, you can ask questions, do all this stuff. So my big thing is tackling these myths, breaking them down, giving my opinion on them, and then handing it back to you, and then you figuring it out. You giving me your opinion after. And that's why I do these things. I want you to leave comments, give me your opinions, what you think, what you like, what you don't like, all that good stuff. Because it doesn't affect me. You can hate my opinion, but as long as you come back with yours and yours has some backing behind it, I'm all ears. I'm down to have that conversation. I'm not even there to change your mind. I just want to have the conversation. So with that being said, this episode is coming to an end. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. It's been fun, and I'm just gonna keep this going. If you want me to tackle different topics, get a hold of me. Remember also, I'm diving into this sector, which is lifestyle and health coaching. So if you're somebody that likes my style and my approach, and you need that, feel free to get in contact with me. Remember, my Instagram is jrich.fit. Hit that up. We'll exchange numbers, and then I don't like evaluations because it almost sounds like I'm trying to sell you. I like the sit down. Let's just have a sit down and we'll talk 15 minutes on the phone, in person, whatever you want. You tell me what's going on with you. You hear my style. We figure out if it meshes, and then we go from there. And then also remember, I have my holistic shakes, Jake Shakes 2020. I'm very excited because Jake Shakes is going to start. It's going to have its own website, and we're going to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. I appreciate everybody that supported so far. It's been extremely fun to be able to be an entrepreneur in this wild west of entrepreneurship and get my messages out there. So I'm extremely happy for that. If you want some Jake Shakes, hit me up. I'm all day, every day making them. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm out of here. Episode 16. We're done. Thank you. Have a great day. Get out there, exercise, smile, laugh, change somebody's point of view, motivate somebody, do something positive, because positivity is exactly what we need. So get the fuck out of here and be positive. Thank you very much. Peace.